Does this sound familiar? You want to improve your portfolio, you look at all the amazing portfolios like this one right in front of me, but you have no idea what you can actually pick and take into your own website. Well, in this video, we're going to take a look at 3 expert amazing portfolios and see some key takeaways so that you can actually incorporate these features into your own portfolio. First one here is Jomor.design. This is a pretty well-known designer on the internet, on Twitter, and he has his agency site here very well done. So as you scroll past the initial hero that says high-end digital experiences with a short view of his portfolios, we get this instant animation of all the letters moving in the background. We get an instant, almost like a gratification for scrolling. And this is going to be a key feature in all 3 of these portfolios. Scrolling animations and that gratification of getting further and further along the website is something very key, very important that we're going to cover in all 3 websites and that we're going to see in all 3 websites. Another aspect of this animation or this website that is really great that you can actually take into your own is the addition of key micro animations to just take it from a static, very standard design just to something so much more professional, to something so much more high end. And this example right here explains that perfectly. Right here it says, will help you stand out. And they could have just had this have will help you stand out, but instead they decided to make it so that when you scroll, it slightly moves this one to the right, this one to the left, and I think this one to the left as well. So that little micro interaction, it makes the website feel alive. It makes the website feel so much more complete rather than if it's just a static marquee. And it's also fine if you don't want to make it animate, but just keep that in mind that these small interactions, this very small attention to detail is critical to make your website stand out and feel like it's an expert website. Next up is going to be Francesco's portfolio, and this guy is an expert designer as well. He has, as he says, one approach to rule them all, and here we're going to take a look at how he actually presents his portfolios. And this is going to be one of the key important features of this website, how you actually present yourself, how you present your portfolio, your work, your expertise in this case, and we're going to take a little bit of a look about it. So this is the end of the actual portfolio. This is the last scroll here. And so as you've seen, as we scroll through this entire portfolio, there's almost different flavors to each section. So the first section here, the hero, is just text that moves to the left that says design connections to something, something, something. And as we scroll down, we get a small interaction or a small animation of a slider here showing his most brief portfolios. Then we get a piece of text that explains his process, his sauce, his secret sauce. And then as we scroll down, we get separated into the selected works. And then we get into the animation. So this is almost like you're separating yourself from your introduction to the kind of work that you do, and then you get into the actual portfolio, then you get into the actual meat and bones of the work. Now, if we go overhead here into projects, click on the open tab, and we see that we get this list of projects, and then if we scroll on top of it, we get an image of what that project is like inside. So it makes us want to click into the project. It makes us want to actually understand what we're looking at, okay, it's kind of baiting us, right? So in this case, these projects are protected by password. I'm guessing it's a private project, but you can kind of get the idea here. The way that he's treating his expertise with these different panels, these different posters, almost makes it feel like a work of art. It almost makes it feel like his expertise is crafted specifically for you, and this poster he created for you. That's how he's behaving himself. That's almost how he wants to be seen. So lastly, here we have a get in touch, big text, and I obviously really value that because it's easy to get in contact with him. But I would recommend that here, instead of having a big get in touch button that takes you to Gmail, it actually is also a contact form. That way they can just type it in. But I mean, this is just an incredible portfolio. The projects, the way that it's performed, the way that it's presented in front of you, it makes you feel like this guy knows what he's talking about, even if the projects were horrible, even if the projects, I mean, we didn't even get access to the projects, but I feel like this guy knows what he's talking about just in the way that he talks about his expertise, just about the way that he talks about his process, as you can see here. So that's the second key takeaway for this video. Coming up third here, but definitely not last, is lukaskmoth.com. I don't know how these names are supposed to be pronounced, but so far so good. So the third portfolio that we have here is completely different to the last 2 here. This is very animation heavy. This is very interaction heavy, very almost like an experience. And then we go into a more simple, more minimal portfolio. And I wanted to do that on purpose so that people can actually feel seen and feel like their portfolio is matched to one of these, so they can actually take this and put it directly into their portfolio. So this portfolio here is obviously very simple, it's very minimal, but there are aspects and characteristics of this that I really like. So as you can see here, just a simple hover, just a simple interaction from Web3 to kind of flip up into Web3 so that you can see that it's changing. That aspect of an animation isn't necessarily difficult to do. An image slightly rotating, slightly decreasing in size also isn't a very hard thing to do, but these micro additions that you can create, that you can add to your website, will make it feel like you actually know what you're talking about, and will make it feel like you can actually create the work. Something that I also really like from this project is this person is very heavy on Web3, NFTs, crypto, that kind of project. And he has a tab here where you can filter by either all projects or Web3 specifically. Now, this is a good idea because Web3 can be very different in the way that you approach a project and the way that you actually take a look at the entire process of creating the project. So it's good that he's creating this tab, and it's good that he's kind of separating it. If we take a look at his Web 2 project, there is something here that I really, really appreciate. I'm going to reload that so that we can see it more in slow motion. So it's not necessarily slow motion here, but the text here takes its time to animate in, and it's not an instant static animation. This type of very key animation is super important for the quality of the entire portfolio. Yes, his projects are well explained and in what his role was, how long it took, maybe if he was a partner, if he wasn't, I'm not sure what that was. But above all of that is going to be the text, and the text that he picked is also extremely important here. Having your own personal branding reflect the kind of work that you want to actually do. So in this case, it is crypto. It is a very sans serif heavy industry. Then it does make sense to have that. And the imagery that you do pick for your entire website, whether it's by tabs, whether it's by limiting the kind of work that you do, whether it's by the actual design standards that you implicate to have Web3 implications, all of this matters in the way that your portfolio looks. So if I had to distill it down, all that into one sentence, it would be: make sure that your personal brand and the imagery that you actually put onto your website fits perfectly within the work that you want to be hired for. Now, that's not to say that the projects that you do can be completely different from your portfolio. It obviously very much can, but it's easier for clients to understand what kind of designer you are if your portfolio already looks a certain way or already looks the way that they want their project to look like. It's easier for them to kind of picture what their project could look like in the end. My last point about this website is just how great his actual work is. I do find it very, very appealing. This very sans serif heavy, very minimal, very Airbnb almost style design. I really like that, and I think you can actually see it in my personal portfolio as well. I'll leave a link to all of these sites down below, including my own, if you guys want to check it out and reach out to me. And if you guys did enjoy this video, then do let me know down below. Do let me know if you have any contradictions of this video, if you don't believe in it, or if you think that there's anything that I should have included. Do let me know as well. I'm always keen for a discussion. And lastly, guys, if you do want my personal help with a one-on-one understanding what's wrong with your portfolio, understanding if there's anything that can be improved, then a link is in the description as superpeer.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.